Hey everyone, Sam here. I just want to apologize for the lack of uploads recently. I haven't uploaded in forever, and that's because I've been too busy with college and other life stuff. But as of right now, I have this month off, and I plan on uploading a bunch more, so please stick around, and I'll upload as much as I can. Thank you, and on to the video. Hello everyone, Sam here. Since the beginning of Season 1, I've been playing DMZ, and I have to say I'm really enjoying it. I welcome this experience as it's a new frontier of Call of Duty, and also a genre I really love to play. A lot of people, myself included, were wondering if this game would come close or even compete with Tarkov. The short answer is no, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I would rather have Call of Duty differentiate itself in this extraction genre than feel like a cheap copy of another great game. With that being said, I still think that there are many features that can be added into DMZ to help make this game better. Taking notes from games like Hunt Showdown and Escape from Tarkov can definitely increase the quality and performance of this new mode. I have a few suggestions that I personally would like to see in DMZ. Granted, DMZ is still in beta, so some of the features discussed or mentioned may already be planned for. Regardless, if you agree or disagree with my suggestions, feel free to comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are and what you would like to see added in DMZ. Let's begin. The first idea I have is one I think all players can agree on. There should be a day and night cycle as well as a weather system. Right now with the game, players are playing in broad daylight just roaming around the map of Al Mazrah. There's nothing wrong with playing during the day, but there's not an element of surprise as you can basically see everyone around you. I think to intensify the battlefield, there needs to be a chance at playing at nighttime, or at the very least, dusk or dawn. Imagine just going through the cities and villages with minimal light with your night vision goggles on, looting, and trying to extract as you have danger lurking in the shadows. The experience would be insane and fun to combat with. I personally would love this feature. As someone who plays Hunt Showdown, some of my most memorable moments are when you play during the night. You cannot see more than 20 yards in front of you, and you can't tell where the enemies are. This unknown element of not knowing what is lurking in the swamps made victories that much sweeter when I was able to extract. If a feature was like that on DMZ, I think it would be a blast and increase the quality of the mode tenfold. For the weather aspect, I would love to see maybe a sandstorm, a light thunderstorm, fog, or simply rain. If there was a sandstorm, maybe the map would become scrambled and unusable as the storm is messing up the signal. Similar to the day and night cycle portion, weather would enhance the immersion and elements of the battlefield. There would be many features and options that could happen as a result of playing in the different time settings and weather. Now this idea may not be that popular, but I think it should be applied to DMZ. No HUD or a minimal HUD. In Escape from Tarkov and Hunt Showdown, these games are relentless and hardcore. In both games, there is no HUD and limited HUD, respectively. Like I said earlier, I don't want this game to be a copy of those games, but I want DMZ to take notes. I think to make DMZ a bit challenging, the HUD should be minimized and all that appears is the map. No visuals on your ammo count, how much money you have, or what your armor status is. Instead, the feature should be that players have to open up their inventory and view all the information there. However, I see the flaw in this feature as this can make the game more complicated and difficult. If the developers did not go this route as I suggested, I would like to at least see a hardcore mode. Regardless if the developers did not go this route, I like where DMZ is at as it differentiates itself from titles like Escape from Tarkov and Hunt Showdown. By not being unrelenting and hardcore, it creates a more casual environment that appeals to more players. One of the hardest things to do in DMZ is to extract a weapon case as you have a bright red icon above your head that basically says kill me the whole time as you carry the case. However, if you are good and talented, you camp near extraction and kill the sucker who did all the work for you, and you can extract like the little rat that you are. Now, as someone that likes to gamble and put money on the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl, I think there should be 2 weapon cases on the map. 2 cases mean double the reward, and that's what I'm all about, baby. If you have ever played Hunt Showdown, you would know that there are times when there are 2 bosses in a match. You can kill one boss, extract, and call it a day, but that is for babies. Men like to go for the Grand Slam. That is where you extract with the 2 bosses and a stack of swamp cowboys behind you. You take a gamble with this route. If you take the safe way of being born by extracting with one boss, you become part of the 90% who quit before they hit it big. Around here we go for it all and risk losing it all, which happens too often. But that is the fun of having 2 bosses. Taking the gamble of losing everything just to extract with the 2 bosses is worth all the pain you go through. By having 2 weapon cases in DMZ, it can provide an incentive for a group to be risky and acquire both cases, or the second case gives another group the chance of extracting with it. I think having 2 cases would make DMZ better. This next feature is one that I think would enhance the gameplay but could also be controversial. Add civilian NPCs. Before you come at me with pitchforks and torches, just hear me out. As of right now in the game, there are enemy NPCs that are either patrolling, defending, or simply part of contracts. With the addition of civilian NPCs, it would add a new element of being tactical, you may have the problem of telling whether an NPC is a friend or foe. This uncertainty when approaching a potential civilian increases the risk, and for me, I believe risk is what makes this game mode so fun. To give civilians a purpose of being on the battlefield, I think it'd be great to let them give you missions or possibly trade with them. With trading, you can buy objects like gas can, thumb drives, and so forth instead of scurrying around the map like rats looking for breadcrumbs. Simply having interactions with the civilians would be a cool feature to have. The issue with having civilians would be that people might go a little berserk. They might recreate No Russian. My solution is pretty simple. Create an honor system. If players kill civilians, then a bounty is placed onto that player which everyone can see. To reward people who aren't committing war crimes, they get discounts or receive a self-revive kit. Personally, I love the idea of adding civilians and giving them features and actions, but I think it might be too complex for a new game mode. The next feature is a must-have, a gun bench. In DMZ, you can bring a customized gun via your inserted weapon slot in the menu, but otherwise you have to find guns across the map or from players. These guns are pretty bland with attachments, but they can get the job done. My thought process is that with the implementation of a gun bench, players can customize these bland and generic weapons by buying attachments at the bench. A flaw that you may point out is that people can make OP loadouts, but my counter to that would be to only have simple and basic attachments at the gun bench. There is no need for the developers to add every single attachment into the gun bench, but they could add simple ones like a basic suppressor, red dot, ACOG, extended barrel, and so on. I think this feature would be great as it would allow players to customize their weapons on the battlefield and utilize all that extra cash that will be ultimately converted into XP by the end of the match. If you have played DMZ for a while, you'll know that most of the contracts do not expire. The only way to end a contract is by completing it or someone else poaching it. However, there are some contracts that you accidentally pick up that you can't enter the room as you don't have the key to enter. Now you're stuck the rest of the match with a contract you can't finish. I think there needs to be an option to either cancel a contract or have a timer put on the contract to end it. Often when I'm doing the radioactive material contract, I cannot pick up the Geiger counter as the room is locked. For the rest of the match, it is a struggle to make money as I can't pick up any more contracts, and I have to scrounge around the map like a rat looking for breadcrumbs. This is why I'm a strong believer in canceling contracts or having a timer put on them. This next suggestion might be a bug, but I still want to address it. If you have down players and the player leaves the game, their backpack along with their majority of their loot disappears. Players that won the fight are not rewarded for doing so because of this issue. The player cannot grab the dog tags and the loot, they can only pick up the weapons that were dropped. I would like to see a feature where the bag will stay in the game for the rest of the match before disappearing. I think it's unfair to players who won a battle receive nothing because someone backed out for losing. I have another suggestion I would love to see in this game, more maps. With DMZ and Warzone being new, there's really not a need for a new map anytime soon, but I hope they add maps in the future that takes place in either Las Almas and or Chernobyl. While I like the Al-Mazrah map, I have an issue with the deserts, and that's a rant for another video. To really immerse players with radiation storms, playing in an area like Chernobyl would be amazing as you'd be playing in a ghost town. The eeriness in the wasteland would just intensify the battlefield. As for Las Almas, it'd be interesting to play in an environment that is lush with greenery and takes place in the mountains. Having 3 different types of maps to play on would spruce up the liveliness of the mode and change the playstyles that players would use. Before we move on to the last feature, this next suggestion is a minor feature, but I think it could be very useful. Key trading. As you know, there are keys that randomly spawn all over the map. Some of them open POIs, while some of them open up rooms or unlock crates. After playing the game for a while, I started to realize I had duplicates when I was in the menus. My friends did not have these keys, and the only way to give it to them would be playing another match. I think this is an unnecessary and potentially risky process to give someone an extra key. By having a key trading menu, it would eliminate the unnecessary and risky procedure to give someone a key. That being said, there should be a trade block in general, but I'll discuss that in a second. The final suggestion I have is a 2-for-1 combo that I believe needs to happen no matter what. Create a better stash system and economy. If you have played DMZ, you would know that you'd have to go around the map collecting loot, amassing wealth, just for it all to be converted to XP when you extract. At first when this happened, I was indifferent about this feature, but the more I play, the more I wonder what the purpose of playing DMZ is. I'm spending all this time collecting all this loot and money just for it to be converted into XP. Now some may say I should spend the money at a shop around the map to buy, let's say, a large backpack, a 3-plate vest, or a key to a POI. Alright, that's good for the moment, but the issue still remains. Although the looting and grinding will only be converted to XP once I extract. What I hope happens is that DMZ receives an update where when you extract with items and money, it is transferred over to a personal stash in the menu. With my concept, the stash will hold approximately 100 to 200 slots of loot. In this stash, weapons, keys, and extractable items can be managed here. At this point, you are able to sell your loot to a vendor or buy weapons and other accessories to take into your next fight. With the suggestions, players will have a place to stash their loot and cash and to utilize those items for future battles. By having a marketplace similar to that of Escape from Tarkov, it would take the game to new heights. Speaking of a marketplace, I think it'd be really cool if they had a marketplace menu similar to that of Modern Warfare Remastered. Maybe add a character from the campaign like Price or Ghost to do business with. Graves from Modern Warfare Remastered had some cool lines, and I think it'd be a great opportunity to add that into DMZ with characters like Price, Ghost, Soap, and so on. Additionally, there should be a trading block. Here, players can trade valuables with one another, such as guns, equipment, loot, and keys. These are some suggestions of mine that I would love to personally see in DMZ, and for the most part, I think they would be complementary to the mode. While some of my suggestions are shooting for the moon, I think it's great to share ideas and promote them. Granted, I'm asking for way too much from a brand new game mode that may or may not be around in the long term, but as someone who loves extraction genre games, I wanted to voice some additions I would love to see in the game for the future. If you have any thoughts about my suggestions or your own suggestions, please share them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching the video, and as always, take care.